Hi everyone, welcome. We'll get started. Welcome to our summer 2026 Working at the Innovation Hub now presentation. I'll say hello to people both in person and online. We like to start off all of our events or presentations with a land acknowledgement. So I'll read off the screen here. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. So I want to highlight a couple of things. One, we have the nativeland.ca link there. So from Toronto, this is a pretty accurate description of the Indigenous peoples whose land that we're on, but if you're from outside of Toronto, but still somewhere in Canada, this link is great for you to learn more about the Indigenous people whose land you're currently working or living on. We try to encourage people to reflect on that. For example, here I have a photo that I took of the Humber River Trail. So for example, I'm a settler, I'm living and working on the land that we now call Toronto. And I sometimes use this trail that has been built from Lakeshore all the way up more north in past Toronto, and then I actually learned that it has actually been used as a path and a meeting place for thousands of years. So it just it causes me to reflect on how valuable the land we're on is exactly, and I would actually encourage that link in particular. Visit that so you can reflect as well. I also want to do an access check, so I'll read for now. We understand access to be a shared responsibility between everyone in this space. We will strive to create an accessible space that reduces the need for you to disclose a disability or impairment for the purposes of gaining accommodation. In doing this together, we strive to welcome disability and the changes it brings into our space. So I'll just ask now, is there anything about the space that we need to address now? And are there any other access needs that might affect your participation in the session that we could address? So Arsh, I'm sure, has an eye on the chat, but anyone in this space? Well, if anything does come up, you can email me or Teams me. My name is Ruth. My email is just ruth.rodrigues@utoronto.ca, or you can even online send a direct message to Arsh. Yeah. All right.
Hi everyone, good to see you all. Thanks for those of you who came out today. This is our first time doing this session in person. We normally always do it online. So welcome to everyone online. It's great to see you all. Today, really our purpose is to give you a bit of an overview of what the Innovation Hub is and what we do. Talk a little bit about our work this year, and then talk about applying to the Innovation Hub, and we'll close it out with some Q&A. So that's our plan. So we're going to do a little bit of introductions. We won't go around to everyone in the room because we're a fairly big group in here. If you're online, you can just put your name, pronouns, and your role or program at U of T in the chat. If you're in the room, maybe just turn to the person next to you and do the same. So I'll invite you to do that now. It's good. It's my third year. All right, if you want to round it up, hopefully everyone got a chance to say hello. We've already made a friend today, so that's great. I would love to introduce you to our leadership team. So like I said, I'm Julia. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the manager here, and I've been here for the last 10 years since we started in 2016. And I'll turn it to Ruth.
Hi, everyone. We spoke briefly, that's not the right term, but my name is Ruth. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the research lead this year at the Innovation Hub. I started as a work study student in 2022, and I'm also finishing my Master of Education in Social Justice Education right now.
So I'm just going to invite everyone to come up here. It's for the online folks. Arsh, when you're ready, come on up. Say hello. You're welcome to. Dan, say hello.
Hi everyone. Hi, my name is Arshdeep. You can call me Arsh. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the communications and operations lead here at the Innovation Hub. Welcome.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Diana. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the graphic design and communications coordinator here at iPod. And like you, I started here as a work study student a couple of years back. And I recently graduated from U of T, so now I'm
Hi everyone, I'm Maxine. You can also call me Max. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm the design research team lead at the Innovation Hub. I've been here like Diana and Ruth since 2022 as a work study student, and I'm currently in my Master of Information in UX Design.
Amazing. And I think you're both gonna stay up here to tell us a little bit more about what it's like to work.
Yeah, I can start. So a lot of what we do here, we have a lot of different work study opportunities for different things of interest. So we'll kind of go over some of the roles that we have available for the summer. But in my personal experience as a work study student, one difference about this work study program that separates it from work study programs in different units is that we typically have a team environment. So in a lot of other units, from what I've noticed from talking to my peers who were in work studies in other departments, is that a lot of the time they were by themselves and just had a supervisor, and sometimes work would come to them. But here we really do operate in a team environment. So when I was a work study student, I was one person on a team of several. And so a lot of our work was way more collaborative. And for me, that was kind of the appeal of iHub work. It was getting the opportunity to work in a team, which is a lot more reflective of a real world work environment. So I got a lot from that personally.
Yeah. Just to carry on what Diana was saying, like I think this work study opportunity is a really great place to learn new skills. I was very involved in the research side, so I was a design researcher and also a qualitative data archivist. So going through the design research process, using the design thinking model, if anyone's familiar with it, and involving student teams to talk with students to learn about their experiences. It was a very enriching experience to be able to collaborate and be able to put out projects that would make an impact. So I learned a lot of hands-on experience and skills involving research like interviewing and collaborating for data analysis and also presenting. So I was able to gain a lot of confidence over these past years. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks to both of you. You can chat more with Diana and Maxine afterwards if you'd like. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the Innovation Hub in case you don't know much about us. And I think the best way to do that is really to start with some of our work. Sorry. So I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the work that we do, of course, in design research, but we also do work in storytelling. So for example, you may have seen some of our documentary work, like the International Students' First 48 Hours in Canada, where we followed 7 international students in their journey from back home, wherever that was, in different parts of the world, to coming here. So we get to do design-based projects here on campus, but also storytelling work as well. And over the years, we've done other projects as well. So we're really all about people and stories and qualitative research. And also, sorry, I wasn't used to the animations on this slide. This is embarrassing. You should practice the slideshow and presenter mode before you present. We also had a chance to support the redesign of the Robarts 4th floor study space. Has anyone studied there before? Okay, fabulous. So when they were before the renovation, our team worked on the student insights that led to the redesign of the Robarts 4th floor. I talked about the projects with the Center for International Experience. The First 48 Hours was just one of a few different projects we've done with them. And Chill Spot. So this is an image of Clara Benson Pool Gallery, which was also informed by our work. So in fact, some of our early work around this idea of chill spots, places to just hang out on campus, led to a Provost Fund which was a multi-million-dollar fund called the Student Space Enhancement Fund. So our work has real impact on campus, and we're really, really proud of that. So what is the Innovation Hub? Well, we like to call ourselves a student-driven design thinking and design research collective, and we take a peer-to-peer approach to all of our projects. We really want to empower people to do human-centered design thinking, and our work is all about partnering with divisions and departments at U of T. And a prerequisite for any division or department to work with us is that they're actually going to make change as a result of the work that we do. So that is essentially who we are. We operate kind of in a consulting model, although from year to year that shifts, and we're heading into a bit of a different season, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. Our mission, vision, values were co-created by one of our earlier teams, and they still really ring true today, which is our mission to improve campus life through student-centric design, with a vision for a campus experience designed for every student to flourish academically, socially, and personally. We have a number of values. First and foremost, accessibility by design. We're always working hard to improve in this area. And equity, diversity, and inclusion is really important to the work we do. We're deeply committed to listening to student experiences, asking follow-up questions, and really thinking deeply about what those things mean. And then taking that data to try to inspire decision makers in the university to really understand students and their experiences more. Come on in, please have a seat anywhere. And we are a learning organization. So I will say that every day I come to work here, I learn something new from the team and from the work that we do. So we deeply value learning together. This is kind of a graphic that speaks to our why. You can see in the circle, really the why we exist is to improve campus life, and some of what we do and how we do it around there. But I also want to tell you about our 5 domains of innovation, because every project that we work on falls under one of these 5 domains. So integrated learning experiences, fostering connectedness, both between students and each other, but also between students and the university. Whole student development is about those 8 dimensions of well-being. Access for every student is really about access not only to university, but within to programs and services and resources. And future ready students is really about feeling confident and prepared for the future. So every project we do falls into one of those. I'll just give you a recap of some of our most recent projects. This past year, Maxine led our Supporting Student Leaders to Create Change project. This was in partnership with the Vice Provost Students Office, where we were looking how the university can better support students who are in formal leadership roles, be that either the University of Toronto Students Union, Graduate Students Union, UTM Students Union, Scarborough Students Union, Part-Time Students Union, and program and faculty student unions. And actually, we're going to be presenting that work on Thursday, which we're really proud of. This year, we also did another documentary. It was called Global Change Makers. And here we're looking at students who are international students who are creating change based on the work that they're doing. And that's going to be premiering very soon. And actually later today, to a small group of our partners, we're going to be screening for the very first time the first cut of our Neurodivergent at University documentary that followed the experience of 5 students. Sorry, this remote's like coming apart. So that gives you a sense of what some of our work is all about. Ruth's going to talk more about community.
Yeah. So as someone who's been here for a few years now, I love to talk about the workplace culture here at the Innovation Hub. And these are important to keep in mind. We work in person every day. So that includes like whether it's like structured team meetings, co-working times, events like the one we're hosting today. We do as much as we can everything in person. We supplement with things like Teams and Outlook, but ultimately the work and the collaboration happens in person. We work collaboratively. It's a really big part of our like work process, and we do so within a team with a consistent weekly schedule. Something that we'll talk a little bit more in a second is we work hard to play hard, right? So you put in as much as you get as much as you put in, is what I like to say, and we like to have fun with our coworkers and talk and get along, but usually we're also working really hard at the same time. And that's because ultimately we are invested in your learning. This is supposed to be a learning experience for everybody. For example, we even have a program that we call Your Learning Journey, where you get mentorship and one-on-one conversations about what workplace skills you want to improve on with your team lead. So we're really committed to making this a really fulfilling experience. And we're a community of growth. So we're looking for students who are interested in creating change for the U of T community. For that reason, we're looking for students who are open to learning new things. So we use the design thinking process here. We welcome students who are creative, and we like to think that this is a place where you can be yourself. I mentioned earlier that we like to work hard and play hard. Here's some examples of that. So just some examples of events that happen here. This is a photo from our Display Your Pride themed social. So for different types of equity related events or memorializing type events, we might have socials. So this was summer last year, which is why it's Pride themed. And we compete with other departments in student life, I believe. Here is a documentary screening. So once it's ready to be shown to the public, we'll have registration forms and the U of T community can come and see our documentaries. And this last image here, we sometimes invite the U of T community to discuss design thinking topics. We like to kind of collaborate with not just our inner community, but our community in the broader U of T. So again, just some examples of events that we do host throughout the year. I want to wrap up just by talking about what some of our student employees have said about working here, because again, we really try to make it a fulfilling experience for everybody. This is from Irfan, who was a documentary assistant just this past year. He says, being exposed to a diverse group of students at IHUB with different academic backgrounds, skill sets, and interests encouraged me to exercise a more innovative and empathetic approach to problem solving. Next here we have Jenny. She was a community engagement designer and event facilitator last summer. And what she had to say is, working at the iHub allowed me to feel a sense of community, both with the team and the students involved in our projects. My experiences with the design thinking process at the iHub have become a highlight of my university experience, shaping how I perceive the world and connect with others. Next, we have Diana to talk a little bit more about the upcoming work study term.
So as Julia mentioned, usually our work in past years has been working directly on projects with certain divisions of the university that we partner with. Next year, we're taking a little bit of a different term in terms of the work that we're doing, and we're doing it in a team. So one of the major projects that we'll have is our 10-year anniversary design thinking project. So the iHub was founded back in 2016, and back at that time, we took a holistic look at how student experiences look like and evaluated the needs of students. So with our 10-year anniversary coming up, we're going to be taking another look at what the student experience currently looks like, and this will give the opportunity to students to work with staff mentors to go through the design thinking process on this project. Another thing that we're really excited about for this project is that it will culminate in a presentation at the end of next year in front of a full breadth of staff and different university divisions. So this project especially will give students and staff the opportunity to make an impact on a wider scale at the university. The next thing that we'll be working on this summer is community engagement. So we'll have a few different positions with the goal of improving our visibility at the university and also more widely connecting with students and different departments and divisions. Since again, we're not working one-on-one with divisions anymore, we're trying to take a holistic approach with our projects and our impacts here. And the next thing that we're going to be looking at is exploring new options of storytelling. So the last couple of years, we've kind of diversified our portfolio of storytelling projects. In the past, most of our deliverables have been design research reports, but the last couple of years, we've kind of expanded and done a lot of different documentary projects. And so this summer and this year onward, we're really thinking about how we can take that even further and explore new options to connect with students. So now I'm going to go over a bit about the different work study roles that we'll have available for this summer. So first we have the design researchers and the design thinking team, and these are going to be the students who work on the 10-year anniversary design thinking project. A lot of what the work looks like this summer is going to be doing a lot of planning and preparation since the project will officially launch in the fall. So this involves going through data, both our own Innovation Hub data and wider institutional data, and creating a plan for the fall and winter team to take on and actually execute the project. The other supporting role here for this team is going to be the qualitative data archivist. So a lot of the work that we do here, we have a lot of transcriptions, feedback sessions, all of the student data that we collect, we have in a database, and the QDA, the quality data archivist really is the person to work with that data and help translate those qualitative findings to something that we can actually use. The next two roles that we have are on the communications team. So the graphic designer and communications assistant, those folks are going to be the ones who help put together all of our communications materials. So that can include PowerPoints like this, that includes all of our design research reports, that includes all of our community engagement materials. So this role really has a breadth of deliverables that they get to put together, and they get to really support every single team that we have at the iHub. And similarly, we also have a storytelling and media assistant. So this role historically has been working with the documentary projects that we've had. Right now, our projects are a little bit in flux in terms of what we'll be working with. So the storytelling and media assistant role will kind of reflect that, and they'll get a chance to work on different audiovisual storytelling projects over the course of the year. For the summer, this will, again, kind of in flux. So for that one, there's more information in the job description that we have available, say, on CLNX. So next we have the community engagement and event facilitator. Like I mentioned, community engagement is one of the sections that we're really looking to expand on in the summer. So this will include planning events, facilitating events here in our space. One event that we've done on a recurring basis that we've really enjoyed hosting is Innovation Hour, which tries to get students and staff to connect. So we're really looking for events that will be that connection point between students and staff. And we're really looking to host events that bring our research to the wider university community. So the event facilitator role will help with that. Then we have a new role. We have the curriculum development assistant role. And so at the iHub, a lot of what we do is part of our work study program gives students the opportunity to learn more about the design thinking process through weekly workshops. And we have our own curriculum to lead students through that process. So because we're coming up on 10 years, we're actually looking to get a curriculum development assistant to help revamp that curriculum to match the work that we're doing and the areas of impact that we're targeting. So this is a very different role than we've had in the past, but we're really excited to kind of revamp that curriculum and bring new workshops to both our work study students and also to the wider university community. And lastly, we have the UI UX web designer role. So a couple of years back, we started doing UI UX projects. And this is also an extension of our collaboration with the Faculty of Information. For those of you who don't know, we host BI and MI practicum students. So we are partnering with the Faculty of Information to facilitate those practicums. So some of our UI UX web designer positions for this summer term are going to be practicum positions for BI students. And we can talk a little bit more about that. So I also want to do a quick overview of the work study program because it does have several eligibility requirements that we'll go over, but work study as a whole is university-wide. So there are different departments that can have work study students. There is a process for university divisions to submit those roles, but we have been doing work study for a very, very long time. So we have our own sort of process. And so Here at the iHub, work study really is an opportunity to deepen your knowledge and strengthen your skills, that's both hard and soft skills, and also explore how your academic studies translate to career possibilities. As well, the work study program is co-curricular record recognized, so you can get an additional acknowledgement on your CCR record for your work study role. As well, you get a lot of professional development opportunities as a work study. One thing that we do at the iHub is we have a learning journey program. So this is a coaching program where you'll get to sit down with your supervisor and really build goals for your work study term and actually get the space to talk about and learn about how to set professional goals for yourself. And the other thing about work study, as I mentioned, that there are some eligibility requirements, which we'll go over. The top right box with the rate per hour and the hourly commitment. So this is specifically for the summer. For the summer, we hire students for a maximum of 100 hours from May to August for each role. And typically at the iHub, this is about a 6 to 8 hour per week commitment. I also want to highlight that the rate that we have specified, $7.60 an hour, is set by the work study role or by the work study division. So we have no say on what the pay rate is. Unfortunately, this is a non-negotiable pay rate. So in terms of eligibility, there are a few criteria that you must satisfy to be eligible for a work study position, and I'll just quickly go over them. So you can only have one work study position per program period. So that means you can only have one work study position for the summer, and you can only have one work study position per fall, winter inclusive. For undergraduate students, for the summer, you have to be enrolled in 0.5 FCE, so that's one course. And for graduate students, you have to be registered for the summer session. So just know that those are two different requirements for undergraduate and graduate students. There are, unfortunately, a few categories of students that are ineligible, and that is non-degree students, so students who are just taking a course here but are not enrolled in a degree. Students doing a placement, that includes anyone who is doing a co-op term. And also Toronto School of Theology students are not eligible for the work study program. I also want to highlight the BI practicum program because it is a little bit different. So the BI practicum students typically work a lot more independently because we give you a project. So you get to work independently to manage those project deadlines and set goals for yourself. It's really an opportunity to work as a team independently and build your own project from the ground up based on the criteria that we give you. So for this specific work study term, the task is to build an events page for the iHub. About this, there's more information in the job description that's available on our website and again on CLNX. The other difference that I want to highlight for the BI practicum is that it is 200 hours rather than 100 hours. That is 100 hours to satisfy your BI practicum requirement and 100 hours as work study. And that means that you'll be doing 12 to 16 hours a week rather than 6 to 8.
It's important to note that the BI practicum hours are not paid. I think that's not on the slide, so the piece is.
Yeah, the other thing to note is according to the BI practicum program, the BI practicum hours are not paid. So you will be paid for 100 hours of study work, but the BI practicum element is unpaid. Yeah, this is also CCR recognized as it is a work study opportunity, and I do believe that as a BI practicum student, you are automatically enrolled in a course, so that makes you eligible for the work study program. As for why the Innovation Hub and why work here, there are a few different things that set us aside from the different work study positions that are available at the university. Kind of some of these we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, but really this is an opportunity to gain experience outside of the classroom. I know from my experience as a work study student that in a classroom, a lot of the work that you're doing is very independent. And here we make a focus to teach you how to collaborate with others. So it's a great opportunity to get a chance to work in a team, especially if you're from a program where that collaborative aspect is absent from coursework. As well, you'll get hands-on experience with qualitative research, working with stakeholders and partners, and community-based programs, because all of the projects that we do in some way are connected to different university divisions. So working at the iHub is really a great opportunity to get to learn more about U of T and different partnerships that we have. As well, it's a meaningful and supportive learning environment. So like I mentioned, we have a few different supports in place to actually benefit you and support your learning. So again, we have a coaching program that teaches you how to set professional goals. We also do workshops for all of our work study students, and that is a core part of our experience. And those workshops are actually paid. So part of your week, part of the 6 to 8 hours that you work is actually coming here and doing a design thinking workshop, which for me as a work study student, I will say was probably the highlight of my week. And also you'll be able to connect with students from across the university and learn about new opportunities. The very special thing about iHub is that we don't have any restrictions on what program you're in. So the people on your team could be from your program, or they could be from a completely different program that you maybe didn't even know about. So that's the other thing. In my experience as a work study student, a lot of the people that I was working with, I probably never would have met otherwise, just because they're from completely different programs. And at U of T, this is a really big institution. Sometimes you don't even get to meet people from other campuses. So this is a really special place, and that we really welcome and encourage people from all programs to apply. And that brings us to the application.
Thank you. So we want to give you some application tips if you came out today. I just also want to say a word about graduate students, because Diana mentioned that you could be on teams with other students. In my experience, this is one of the rare places where we actually mix grad and undergrad students in a working capacity. At any given time, we'll have undergrads and masters and PhD folks on our team. And we see that as a real asset, and there's a lot of learning from one another. So no matter what program you're in or what study level, you're welcome to apply. And as Diana mentioned, our emphasis on your career development is probably that we put it up there above even the quality of our projects, because we're really here to provide you all with such a great experience. And as a result, a lot of our graduates are working very successfully in a wide variety of fields, some of them now after a few years in manager or senior manager roles. And a lot of that when they come back is they'll tell us it's about the skills that they learned here. So that is the most important thing for us, is that you all have a valuable work integrated learning opportunity. So therefore, it's really important that we get the right folks on our team. And we really want you to interview us in the process as much as we interview you. So I want to go through and tell you a little bit about what our process looks like, so you know what to expect should you choose to apply. So first and foremost, we ask that you prepare your resume and cover letter. And if you're applying to any kind of communications role, also your portfolio, just to give us a sense of some of your work. We do have an application form online, so we'll have a link at the end, but if you go to uoft.me/iHubWorkStudy, you can find the full job descriptions as well as the link to the form. You can also apply on CLNX. If you do, you're going to get an email from me asking you to fill out the form. So now that you know about it, you can bypass that process and go right to the form. The first step in our interview process is we will narrow down from our applicants, and applicants who move forward will get invited to attend our Ideathon. And this is really supposed to be a fun event. So it's really a 90-minute event with us in groups where we're going to go through the entire design thinking process, and you're going to work on a team to do a fun task. We used to have an individual interview assignment. We have decided to move this into a group model. It's also where you can interview us, because this is really going to give you a taste of what our work is like, and you can see if you like it or not, right? So that's our Ideathon. From there, we will select folks from the Ideathon to move forward into a one-on-one interview, probably shortly after that event takes place, and we will send offers to our final candidates via email. Orientation is an in-person orientation, and all of our work is in person. So that's really important to know. Because we work on teams, there will be a set schedule, but you'll be negotiating that with your team. But you can expect to be here on 3 different days in the week for a couple hours each. We find that the experience is better when you're in person. It more reflects the real world workplace environment, and it helps give a chance to work through those team dynamic issues, build a lot of skills, and help us get to know you so that we can support your development as well. Some application tips. When you're preparing your application materials, make sure you write us a cover letter. We do not even look at just a resume. So if you don't have a cover letter, we're not going to look at your resume. Please write us a cover letter. Tell us why you want to work here. And feel free to tell us more about yourself. We really prefer resumes and cover letters that are not AI generated. We are a human-centered organization. We want to hear your real voice, even if there's some typos in there. That's totally fine. We'd rather get to know you a little bit. So first, learn about our work on our website. What resonates about it? Why do you want to work here? Tell us that in your cover letter. Make sure you're eligible for the work study program, because sometimes we get to the end of the process and then realize someone isn't eligible. Part of that is you do have to enroll in the courses and make sure that your tuition payment gets made on time, or you've made arrangements, because otherwise we'll get to that point and then they'll decline your work study. So make sure you take care of all of those things. You can be succinct in your cover letter. My standard is like 1 page. You don't need to write us 4 pages. That's a lot for us to read. So just be succinct and clear. And again, share why you want to be part of our team. We will ask you to combine your resume and cover letter in one single PDF. It makes our process easier, and also to link your portfolio in that document as well as part of your resume. To submit your application materials, there's also a screening form. So we have some additional questions. First of all, some of them are screening questions just to tell you some dates and requirements of the role and make sure that they all meet your needs. Again, if something on there you're like, no, this isn't going to work, then at least you get to know that up front. And we're also going to ask you questions to get to know you a little bit better. So feel free to just write those freely. Please do not use AI in this. If we detect that something's been used AI, it's so important that we get to know who you are. AI is amazing and it has a place in a lot of things, but for us, we really want to hear about who you are through your written answers. You also can apply to only one role. At the Innovation Hub, we're looking at our applicants as people versus like any kind of sort of assembly line process. So we automatically will consider you for any other role we think you're eligible for. So choose the role that you're most interested in, apply to that one, tailor your resume and cover letter to that one. If something comes up and we think that you might be a great fit for another role, we're going to let you know. In terms of our selection process, as I talked about, we have the Ideathon. This is that group design thinking challenge. On the application form, we're going to ask you to select all the possible dates that you can be available to come in for that. So just make sure you check all the ones that you would be able to come for. And then successful candidates from there will be invited to a 30-minute interview. Most likely the interviews will be virtual, but the Ideathon is here in person. We will plan on sending out offers by Friday, May 1st. So check your email, respond ASAP. And then the contract is for the summer term, so May through mid-August. And if we find someone really great early on, we may send an early offer, but most likely the offers will come closer to May 1st. We also have a full day orientation, which is part of the onboarding process. We've planned it from 9 to 5 on Thursday, May 14th. We've also planned our weekly meetings on Thursdays. So if you have flexibility in your course schedule and can sort of avoid Thursdays, that would be great. But we'll just ask you about that in the application form. If you do have a class conflict, just write us a little bit of a note in the form and we can see what's possible. So you'll get to meet team leads, learn about design thinking, and prepare for the term during that event. So some of the qualities that we look for, I would say first and foremost, I look for people that can really be themselves, right? So oftentimes, we think that we have to be polished in a certain way for jobs and stuff. Here, we really recognize that we're just all people and we want to get to know you for who you are. But we also look for people who are willing to learn new skills. If you're someone that's a lifelong learner, we want you here. Someone who's open to feedback and iteration. In the academic environment, it can become really difficult to get feedback. We are a really feedback-driven organization. We have usually 10 drafts of something before it's done, and it goes through lots of hands. And so learning to work like that so that you can be more comfortable working like that out in like life after school is a really, really good skill. So you need to be open to it. If you're passionate about student experiences and want to make the campus a great place, we love people who take initiative, who like to see an opportunity and just kind of go for it. People who can respect others. We're a diverse team. We're going to have differing perspectives on things. So being able to be respectful and understand that different people feel differently about things. Being open to failure. We see failure as learning. I know it's kind of a dirty word here at U of T, but really it's our opportunity to learn and try again. Being responsive, looking for a new experience. You're definitely going to have a new experience here. But also being able to be organized and accountable for your own work. We run the Innovation Hub really like a real world sort of startup environment. So you do need to be able to, you know, be committed and accountable to what you've said that you'll do. And we love really great questions and curiosity here. So these are just some of the attributes of a great Innovation Hub employee. Some of these may be things that you want to develop. You may say, Julia, like failure is really hard for me right now, but I want to come here and I want to learn how to fail better. Fantastic. We are a learning organization. That's what we're here for. For your portfolio, if you're in a role that requires a portfolio, just a few tips. We do need this for any graphic design or UX UI roles. We'd love to see 3 to 5 of your best projects. School projects are fine. Make sure that the projects sort of reflect the role you're applying to. So if you're applying for graphic design, we should see some of your graphic design work, for example. Make sure they're accessible. We don't need a password or something to get in. Sometimes that happens and it's difficult because we can't see it. Make sure that it's scannable and link it in your resume if you can, rather than sending it separately. So the link to apply is here, uoft.me/ihub work study. Applications close officially Sunday, April 12th at 11:59 p.m. Note that if you're a procrastinator, the form does take a bit of time to complete. I would set aside at least 30 minutes if you want to think through your responses. So don't wait till like 11:29 because the form will close at 11:59. You won't be able to submit it. We also will have the recording of this event up online in case you want to refresh your memory on anything, and you can get more information about work study and career exploration on the CLNX. So that wraps up our presentation.